Hello, my name is Natalie Laing. You can call me Loy. I am very excited to be here with you today on behalf of the Cancer Project, and we are committed and dedicated to helping you take charge of your health, and the way we're going to do that primarily is through food. Now, we have a series of 6 classes all together, and for each of our classes I want you to be present fully here 100%. Definitely participate, and of course eat all this stuff when we're done. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to be making a summer salad, a summer tomato salad, and you notice I'm here by the stove, and it's summer, it's hot outside. You don't want to be cooking, you want to be outside having fun with your family and your friends, so you are not even going to have to turn the oven on. Here is the bulk of our ingredients that we're going to be using today. We have our nice big juicy red tomato. We have our sweet peppers, is what we call them at home, yellow, red and orange. And we have some scallions here, as well as our red onion. I don't know why we call them red, because they look purple to me. I don't want you to take these ingredients lightly. They're very, very important, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get into it. Some additional ingredients that we're going to be using today is we have some naturally raw honey. Basically, this means that it hasn't been heat treated, so it still retains all of the essential minerals and vitamins and nutrients. And I've already measured out 2 tablespoons of honey, and I prefer it for the taste. That's what we're going to be using today. However, if you don't want to use honey, you can go ahead and try some blackstrap molasses. The way the molasses has been treated still retains all of the minerals and the vitamins and nutrients. Or another product that is recently on the market, but it's made from a plant, from the stevia plant. If you're concerned about your caloric intake, you can go ahead and use stevia because it has 0 calories. Definitely some good stuff, but very sweet, so you want to make sure to be mindful of that. We also have some sea salt right here. We're going to stay away from our table salt and stick to sea salt. We have a little bit of organic garlic powder, and we also have some apple cider vinegar. Very important. If you think about the way cancer functions, cancer tends to thrive in an acidic environment, so we want to concentrate on foods that help to produce an alkaline environment for the proper pH in our body. Apple cider vinegar is one of the highest alkaline producing foods, so we definitely love this stuff, and we're going to be using that today. So let's go ahead and get started. We have our bowl, and we are going to go ahead and we're going to mix our raw honey. Let's just scoop. Look at all that yummy goodness. We're going to scoop out our honey, and we're going to go ahead and mix that with our apple cider vinegar. Now, the thing with raw honey is that it tends to be a little bit thick, so you want to give it some elbow grease and kind of get it thoroughly mixed out, get all that good stuff in there. Mix, 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 mix. To that, we're going to add a little bit of our garlic, and I would venture to say about 1/4 teaspoon. Again, it all depends on your particular taste, and some of you might be going through chemotherapy, some of you might be going through various treatments, and it really affects your taste buds. So with things like salt and garlic, you want to kind of add and adjust according to your particular taste. So we're going to go ahead and get that good and mixed up, and once you have it mixed, you kind of put it to the side for a bit while we work on the vegetables to give all those ingredients a chance to come together. Very important, you want a nice sharp knife in the kitchen. Nothing more frustrating than a crazy knife. Let's go ahead. We'll start with our yellow bell pepper, and you're just going to roughly chop it. You don't need to worry about being all serious and stodgy in the kitchen. You want to make sure you're still having fun. What I want you to pay attention to is, look at the color. You have yellow right here, we have our red bell pepper right here. All of these colors in these fruits and vegetables are from antioxidants, and I know you hear that word floating around a lot. Antioxidants are actually only found in plants, and what that basically means, if you think about a tiny little seed, little seeds are where all of these fruits and vegetables come from, and as these seeds are growing, one of the most important things is sunlight, and the process that makes this happen is photosynthesis. So while all these plants are growing, all this photosynthesis is happening, there are these crazy chemicals and free radicals and electrons all floating around. And what happens is the plants actually have to produce these chemicals called antioxidants in order to help control the free radicals that are floating around in the plants. But here's the kicker: the same thing that happens in these plants with antioxidants is the same thing that happens in our bodies. But our bodies don't give us this protective shield from antioxidants. The only way that we can get them is through plants and vegetables. You're not going to find it in animal protein. The only way you're going to find antioxidants in animal protein is if that animal has actually eaten a plant, some kind of fruit or vegetable that has the antioxidants. So if I were you, I'd prefer to go straight to the source, which is actually the fruits or vegetables. You don't want to have to go through a whole cow for a little bit of antioxidants. All right, so we have our red onion going, and I like onion. Again, it's all going to be according to your particular taste. So if you like onion, put a lot of onion. If you want more peppers, put more peppers. Whoops, this is a kitchen. Crazy stuff happens, just work with it. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna slice up our red onion. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to get some rough chops. Be very careful. Make sure your knife is sharp. And I've saved one of the most important ingredients for last. Look at how red this tomato is. The antioxidant that's found in this particular tomato is called lycopene, and lycopene is very important. It's a very important tool in fighting cancer, and tomatoes are also very low in acid again, which helps to produce a proper pH in our bodies. So we're going to go ahead and just roughly chop this tomato. You don't have to worry about the seeds, you don't have to worry about all that good stuff, because what's going to happen is a lot of the juice from inside the tomatoes is going to provide some of the liquid towards the marinade that we're going to have with all our vegetables right here. So let's go ahead, get that chopped up as well. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? You have your yellows, your orange, red, purple, all that good stuff. This is just one huge thing of antioxidants. Definitely good. So what we're going to do is move over here. I'm going to grab a bowl. Kind of underestimated how big my bowl was going to be. We're going to just scoop all of this into our bowl. Look at that. Look at all that good stuff going in there. Hippocrates, who is the father of medicine, said, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food." So instead of a whole bunch of pills and supplements, we have all our whole food goodness right here. So we're going to go ahead and put all of that in there. The last thing you want to do is add your marinade. So you give it one last stir, just pour everything on, and you just mix all this up together, just like that. And I know how my tastes are, so this is where I'm going to add a little pinch of table salt. Sorry, not table salt, sea salt. Not too much, just a smidge. We're going to stir everything all together. And guess what? That's it. This is it. Look at how beautiful this is. Very easy, very tasty, very simple. All kind of good antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, nutrients in there. Cancer is a very formidable opponent, and we're definitely not going to fight this thing lying down. We're going to fight it standing up. We're going to ball up our fists, and we're going to use our weapons. Our particular weapon of choice happens to be food. Again, you're all going to get to try this. Everybody go ahead, eat up and enjoy. One of the other things that I wanted to point out is that in your fight against cancer, knowledge is power, and for me that includes a lot of reading. Go ahead, eat up your salad, enjoy. I'm very, very happy to be here, and I look forward to continuing our series of classes. Thank you so much. Peace.